Hello guys, it's SuperBearNeo here, and today's video is going to be a bit different because, well, today is more like me giving my thoughts on the specific topic per se, and technically I've done this before, but like, this time I'm going to be a lot more personal on it, but, yeah, all I'm going to say is, this one could be a bit controversial, so here's the thing: if you can't handle an opinion or whatever, or you just feel like you're going to have to come after me after this or whatever, I really don't care. As a matter of fact, here's your invitation to like, or in this case, dislike, and just leave the video. I really don't care, but this is more specifically my thoughts on something that I feel like has been plaguing like the debating system for like a while. With that being said, anyways. So, in case you guys haven't known, or like you've been living under a rock for like a good past year, I guess, there's something in fictional debating called Outerversal, or specifically a character tier called Outerversal. Basically, it's quite simple: characters who are beyond all iterations of time and space, and basically transcend dimensions itself. Which, I don't know, simple enough is. But the thing is, it's like I've never liked that tier to begin with, really. Like, for one thing, okay, so let me just start right off the bat. As a tier itself, I just never liked it, nor matches related to it. Specifically, when I mentioned I don't like 1A, I really don't like the tier itself, but I really hate the matches related to them, which is what I'm going to mainly focus on. Now, within itself, I feel like 1A matches are just pretty stupid. And like a lot of people say that it's basically my infinity is higher than yours, and people say that's an exaggeration, but it really isn't when you think about it. Like, really, think about it. Every 1A match that you have, like from your Burn Castles to your Lucifer Morningstars or whatever, etc., etc., think about it. What's the argument that's always used, and what argument, or really argument, can be used at this point? Because hacks at that level is just really pointless. But yeah, basically it's my transcendence level is higher than yours, or basically my infinity is bigger than your infinity, which is not a good incentive for a versus match. In fact, that just basically strips all complexity that, like, for example, a tier 9 fight would have, like factoring all this other stuff. Even a tier 2 battles would be a lot more complex, even though those can be a bit, simple too, but still, at least they require like some complex font stuff. Literally, Outerversal tiering, or actually, matter of fact, tier 1 in general, to an extent, but mostly 1A, is basically just a numbers game, which is dumb, which is pretty just stupid when you're trying to gauge out versus match. And like my biggest gripe is when people start debating with these type of characters. Is like, why would you debate with a 1A character? That's stupid. And not only that, but like, it's just a dickish move, because for one thing, it's like, I mean, it's higher infinity game, so like, why would you debate that? That's not interesting whatsoever. And not only that, but it's just a dick move. Why would you debate characters of that level? It requires no thought. It's basically like it's like basically fighting a Pokemon battle every time, but using Arceus every time, which is basically no creativity, and it's just bullshit. Why would you do that? Basically, just make everything easy for you. And I also would like to point out that like I said, 1A stuff is just like, that's one of the reasons why people ask me like 1A related stuff. I just groan, because like I don't like it myself. I feel like 1A is one of the things that has led to where debating is now, which is basically fucking turmoil. And I'm not saying that the tier itself is bad, because like I said, there are characters who are beyond all iterations of space and time and conception. That exists, that definitely exists, but like, my gripe with it is when you put these characters together and act as if that's like, it's not purely subjective and just philosophy at that point. Yeah, but yeah, overall, just 1A matches in general have just been something that I just never appreciated. And like, another gripe that I have with it too is like, everyone wants their characters to be 1A. Like, everyone has all these 1A arguments, and everyone has all this 1A stuff and stuff. Like, my question is, like, think about this: why would you want your character to be one of the strongest, like to the point where they seem like they're virtually unstoppable? Like, for example, if I had Sora at like 1A and stuff like that, and like being able to defeat virtually anyone, that just devalues his character completely. It just makes him seem like he's some sort of unstoppable tyrant who's just like on some certain level and all that, completely devaluing all the struggle and stuff he goes from and all that. Like, why would you intentionally ruin a character for the sake of an arbitrary character stat or anything like that? That's stupid. That's pretty dumb. And like, not just that, but like in addition to it, you're completely like ruining a character, more specifically ruining a perception of a character and making people think that like they're just really garbage and all that. Like, oh, this character's just some sort of broken OP shit from some property where everyone can virtually beat anything. Like, why would you do that? Why would you ruin a character? Like, do you just lack so much respect for that character and so much investment in some arbitrary, at this point I wouldn't even say gauge game, because it's more like niggas screaming at each other like they're deaf and like thinking that screaming their points is like valid when it really isn't, and no debater would actually do that, any sensible debater. But that's a different discussion. But yeah, overall, it's just like, why would you just want to intentionally devalue your character just for the sake of some stupid tier? It's dumb, and that's how you can tell from a fake fan and like a fucking genuine fan too. Like that's how you can tell, because like for one thing, it's like that's one of the reasons why like Masadaverse, or more specifically Dies Are Rail and like Umineko, that's one of the reasons why they get so many fake fans and like people, so many debaters is like gravitate towards the verse, even though nobody knows what the hell they are talking about. I've never actually experienced the property. They get it from their flawed versus battle wiki, which admittedly everyone agrees, well at least everyone who's actually read both properties admits that like versus battle wiki gets horribly wrong, and actually just gets genuine misconceptions and accepts them as a direct fact. Which again, if you actually read like the series, you would know that. And that's how you can tell from a fake fan and some sort of nigga who's just like trying to gravitate towards the verse because it has like 1A or just virtually unstoppable. Which sadly is an issue that isn't just exclusive to them. It's basically almost any verse. It doesn't have to be 1A characters, but it usually is though. And yeah, it's just, yeah, overall, like 1A has done like a lot of negative compared to like good into the debating community. Not only has it created people to just intentionally like wank their characters and stuff like that, not only does it dumb down like actual thought in versus battles to the point where even a 1-year-old could get it, not only does like it create like a flood of fake fans who aren't even genuinely into the series but just only into power scaling, which is stupid. But it's just done so much of this shit and it's dumb. Like I said, I've never liked 1A shit, and I do stand by that point, because like it was never good to begin with. Like I said, there are characters of that level, but you want to know what's funny? Notice how like almost every one of the 1A characters are bad. They're badly written, they're boring, or they just have no redeeming qualities whatsoever. The only exceptions to this is I've seen is like Umineko characters, the very few that actually are 1A, or like for example, I don't know, fucking some characters in Masadaverse, but there are like good, well written 1A characters. But the thing is, the point I'm trying to get at is like, a lot of them are just badly written or just boring. So my gripe is like, when you try to have like some sort of character who's like normally lower, or who you think is of that level, like why would you want to do that? Like literally, you're just literally putting them on the class of like some of the worst in terms of like character wise, some of the worst characters period, which is just again dumb. And yeah. Overall, it's just like my gripe with 1A. Oh, and I definitely gotta mention this one actually now that I think about it, because it just came to my mind. Which, by the way, not only has 1A just damaged everything that I talked about, but it's also just made people, okay, so I'm sure all of you are familiar with with Plato's philosophy, or basically the theories of form. That's only one of his philosophies. He has many different ideas, but he's mainly known for that. But like not only that, but like 1A in general has made people just completely butcher and just like misunderstood Plato's like fundamental ideals, which is so bad. Like imagine thinking that like okay, like imagine thinking that like every writer and stuff has complete knowledge of like what a Platonic concept is, and like imagine like trying to apply Plato's like years of work, butchering it, and just to have some character like 1A and shit, which is pretty retarded. Which when you think about it, like I said, it's not only that, it makes people just completely misunderstand how fucking Platonic what actual like theory of forms is indicating, which is dumb. So like I said, 1A has done nothing for the debate community. Like it like the tiering itself and like the implication behind it, it exists in fiction. There are characters of that level. It's just that like my genuine gripe is like just like you're really putting these characters together. Not only that, but like so many other stuff is just yeah. But overall, this video is meant to be like my opinion on like 1A as a whole, and like suffice to say, I really don't like it, and nor do I even care about too much of it. Hence why if someone like comes up to me like wants some 1A character, one assuming that I don't really care for or know, then I'm just like, okay, cool. I really don't care. Like there are verses that like I do debate that are 1A, but I tend to like not stick with the 1A characters themselves. I tend to like avoid them completely. And like yeah, overall, like I said, I can tolerate a verse that has 1As in them, but I just tend not to debate the 1As themselves. And yeah, but overall, this is pretty much my view on things, and as I said, this is pretty much a short video I wanted to make. So yeah, that's all, folks. SuperBearNeo, peace the fuck out.